Hi everyone, thanks for coming back and joining me for another video. So what were they thinking? I can't say that that is about a particular person or couple. You can see how that can apply to a few different scenarios that are going to come up in this video. Firstly, I want to say thank you very much to the lovely messages for the video that I posted yesterday, my little goodbye for our Queen. And I did read as many messages as I could. I didn't respond to a lot of them because it's still quite an emotional thing. I'm like, oh, blah, blah. So I said that I was going to start off every video I do with something nice about the Queen. I'm going to try not to make you cry, but you might. And that is the fact that, did you know that Prince Philip hasn't been buried yet? Did you know that the Queen and Prince Philip made a pact? And that was that neither one would be buried without the other. So when the Queen's funeral is on Monday, she will then take her place with Prince Philip, who is being kept in a vault, and they will be buried together alongside King George, Queen Elizabeth's father, the Queen Mother, and Princess Margaret. So the family will be together once again. So let's talk about the Montecito duo. Well, firstly, there is lots of stuff. It started already. The Harry and Meghan show, the PR games, little bits are being leaked using Omen Scobie, their mouthpiece, various other PR stunts. First of all, we're hearing that Oprah is intending to come over as Meghan's guest for the funeral. I think I can vouch for a lot of people in the UK. We don't really want Oprah at the Queen's funeral, given that Oprah was part of that huge tell-all. It was not an interview with Harry and Meghan as Prince Philip lay dying. There is definitely a lot of race baiting and a lot of things that have been proven to be completely false. Oprah and Gayle have started doing interviews basically saying that they weren't aware that it was going to be the bombshell that it was. It's like they're trying to backtrack from how much involvement they truly had in it. But considering Oprah had been trying to get an interview with Meghan since before the wedding, I think that they're a lot more involved than what they're ever going to let on. It's recently come to light that several of the producers that are now working on Meghan's podcast actually work for Harpo Productions. So I think Oprah's involvement with Meghan's management is definitely a lot further along than what I think that she would like people to believe. Now that the fallout of the Queen's death seems to be hitting hard Americans as well. Obviously, Americans do not want their own monarchy. They do not want Harry and Meghan to be royals of USA, but they obviously had a lot of love and respect for our Queen. I know that Catherine and William, the Prince and Princess of Wales, are also very much loved and respected, as is Charles and Camilla. So I think that Oprah backed the wrong horse, shall we say. Now, in other news, we have had the dramas of Doria's going to come over and bring the children to the funeral. Again, not appropriate. The children are too young. They do not know the Queen. They met her briefly once, and even that, I take that with a pinch of salt. They came over on the Jubilee, and I just think it was about stealing headlines from the Queen. It's a huge state funeral. It's not exactly an environment for children. If they wanted to fly them over, if Harry and Meghan are intending to stay until Monday, which it looks quite probable, then, bring them over and then the children can be at at Frogmore and spend time with Charles. But I just got a sneaking suspicion that if this is actually true, it is again all about getting the children in the newspapers and headlines from everything we've seen with Harry and Meghan. The Jubilee was a prime example of the fact that they couldn't quite let the Queen just have a peaceful time, and I don't think they're ever going to. In further news, Harry is also supposed to be releasing his book, or rather demanding from the publishers that it is released in November. Yes, with everything that's going on with the peace offering that Prince William reportedly showed to Harry by allowing him and Meghan to come on that walk around Windsor, Harry is still determined that he is going to have that memoir published, and he wants it done by November, or he is threatening to sue the publishers. This was spoken about with Dan Wootton and Tom Bowers last night, because Tom Bowers obviously has insider information when it comes to publishing. So truly shocking behaviour there, but it's not anything that I can be surprised about, because we did see the line of accession change on the royal website, and everyone can notice there is still Miss Lily, I refuse to call her Lilbet, Miss Lily Mountbatten Windsor and Master Archie. So I think someone might have been told that their children are not going to get the titles, which I cannot for the life of me understand why the Sussex squad are upset about this and kicking off. They hated the royal family. They've tried to destroy the royal family. It's a racist institution. They posted some of the most vile things when Queen Elizabeth started getting sick. Some of the most shocking things I've seen on Twitter, which I will never share with you. But trust me, the scourge of the earth seem to have Twitter accounts. And yet here they are. This Princess Lilibet is Prince Archie. It's not going to happen. They're American citizens. They don't need titles. They've not been brought up as to be part of the royal family. And their parents have done everything to trash the monarchy. Now, at the end of last week, I had very different views on how I was going to speak about Harry. Obviously, it is a terrible tragedy. Harry was very much a beloved grandson to her. But that is why everything that Harry and his wife did has massively hurt the Queen in her final years. This is why I'm not feeling too forgiving. But Harry raced up to be with the Queen and his family as the Queen was in her last moments on Thursday. But naturally, some hoo-ha came of that. And that was to do with Harry and Meghan wanted to go on the plane. And I think that they were told no, Harry was allowed. And then there was a strop. So they decided to make their own way. And then Prince Charles got involved. The reason why I say this is Harry was reported to be travelling up with Prince William, with Sophie the Countess of Wessex, Prince Edward, on this jet that was organised last minute. When they arrived, which I was watching on TV, there was no Harry, there was no Meghan. They hadn't actually said that Meghan was due to go. But in between that time of that arriving, Omid Scobie, their mouthpiece, had released that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are going up together. So I think what happened was Harry could have gone with the family and he decided not to because Meghan was not welcomed for obvious reasons. And then they decided to make their own way. And then it wasn't until Charles intervened, according to media reports, that Charles literally had to phone Harry in the most awful time of his life and to say, Meghan is not allowed to come. Catherine is not coming because she's staying back and behind for the children. It's not appropriate for Meghan to be there. And he's got a very good point. It's not appropriate for Meghan to be there. She didn't want to see the Queen the moment she got that ring on her finger. Meghan and Harry didn't go to Balmoral from the wedding. They were invited up in the summer. They didn't go. They were invited to spend time with the royal family at Christmas. You remember that Meghan was the first girlfriend to ever be allowed to spend Christmas with the royal family. They made special allowances for Meghan and for Harry, and then they never wanted to spend any time with them since. They had multiple times to take the children to go over and see the Queen. We saw that they could do it privately when they came over for the Invictus Games, not the most recent, but the time previously. They could have come under cloak and dagger and taken the children to meet her. They didn't want to. They were also invited 3 days before the Queen actually died. Yes, I am not kidding you. The Queen extended another invite for them to join her in Balmoral. This is obviously before her health took a turn for the worst. So Harry does have to live with the fact that he could have seen his grandmother 3 days before she died, but he chose not to. The media was obviously reporting that Harry was the last to arrive and the first to leave. And at the time I thought, oh, that's a bit mean. You know, he's obviously going to have a lot of regrets. Lots of people have got regrets when we lose our loved ones. I had a very good relationship with my father, but once he got sick, there were so many things that I wish I could have said, let alone someone in Harry's situation where he and Meghan have held so much abuse and problems. They damaged the Queen's reputation in the final years of her life. Not so much her reputation, but they caused a lot of damage across with the accusations of racism across the Commonwealth nations and just lots of things. The fallout, what the Oprah interview did. It didn't help the fact that BLM had been a very recent thing, and Meghan is now the poster girl, despite the fact that she has pretended to be white and not acknowledged the black side of her family her entire life. Once she found out that she could use it as a race card to manipulate people, she is now the poster girl of racism that people are now using, even at this awful time for our Queen being buried, to stoke up more colonialism stuff. And it's just not the time. I wish they'd all stick a sock in it and just give it a week. Just please, just stop. Now, Harry and William did make an appearance together with their wives, the Princess of Wales and Meghan. And it was a surprise. They were supposed to have turned up at 4:30. They didn't get there till 5:15. The reports are now coming out. Meghan delayed it because she wanted to get ready. It was her hair and makeup. I can't criticise for this. At the end of the day, if they weren't ready and then she's going to be making an appearance in front of all of the crowds and the cameras and stuff, you know, she needed to get ready. Most of us would need a little bit of time. Maybe she needed to shower, get her hair sorted. So whatever the reasons were for delays, this happened. They appeared together. The newspapers irritatingly trying to sell the Fab Four. They were never a Fab Four, and if everyone would like to cast their mind back, the moment that Meghan joined the royal foundation of Prince Harry, Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge, it disintegrated, as did all of Harry's relationships with his friends, his family, the military, patronages, and anything else that I can think of. But regardless, Prince William was magnanimous and gracious, and he extended this olive branch. And at that moment in time, I thought to myself, do you know what? I am absolutely going to keep my mouth shut about this. This is about the Queen. And the last time these two brothers were in grief together and at any sort of event like this, with all of the public there, all of the flowers, all I could think of was when they lost their mother, Princess Diana. And everyone always talks about Harry was the boy that walked behind the coffin. William was there too. And I just think that this moment could have been one final gift that the Queen has left behind, bestowed on her family, that this emotional time might help thaw the rift between the brothers, might actually call a truce. I mean, a truce is generally if both brothers are having a go at each other, and this is very much one-sided from Montecito. But as it turns out, as I said at the beginning of the video, Harry is still hell-bent on releasing his book. So it makes me think that this was not really exactly a truce. This was a moment for Harry and Meghan to bathe in the limelight alongside the Prince and Princess of Wales. That's how I believe that they viewed it. But now, again, I would like to bring your attention to another story that has come out. Whilst the mainstream media has not reported on this, it is coming from fairly reliable sources across social media that Harry and Meghan had actually arranged to do their own private walkabout in Windsor, and they had notified a US TV network. William was notified, and this is why there was a last minute hoo-ha, and basically he got Harry and Meghan to join him and Catherine. So it was a moment, a show of unity, rather than Harry and Meghan trying to steal the limelight. Now you would think that this plan being foiled, and this might be why Meghan looks so nervous and twitchy a lot of the time, plus the fact she's seeing Catherine, who is now the Princess of Wales, who she openly attacked on Oprah. How Harry and Meghan didn't bother coming over to Prince Philip's memorial. Tom Bower's book has proved that the rifts or the problems that Meghan caused ran a lot deeper than what most of us actually thought. There are some very cruel things that Meghan has done, and to be Catherine, could you imagine her sitting at home? We know the amount of lies that Meghan told on Oprah, but in comparison to what the royal family know how many lies she told, there is bound to be stuff that we weren't even aware of that happened, that we'll probably never find out, that things got covered up. And for Meghan to have played that whole, like, I'm Diana Martin Bashir, everyone was mean to me, I was a princess locked in a tower, and now she's having to face the family that she lied about. So in a way, it was kind of good, like a walk of shame for Meghan to see so many people that were there, obviously grieving for the Queen, that were happy to see the Prince and Princess of Wales. But there were obviously people that were still nice to Harry and Meghan. I think a lot of people still were very, very sweet with Harry. Meghan got a hug from a young girl, which of course played into Meghan's PR team's hands, didn't it? But, she's 14 years old. There's a reason why 14-year-olds don't vote. It's good. Her mother obviously raised her well. She was very nice, but it was the fact that she got interviewed afterwards. She said, I just wanted Meghan to know that she's so welcome. And I just see a 14-year-old that got excited because she saw a celebrity and she got to hug them. I do not see a 14-year-old that is aware of all of the things that Harry and Meghan have truly done, nor does she probably have the emotional maturity to understand how absolutely horrific the things that Harry and Meghan have done to the Queen and tried to do to her legacy in the final years before she died. This is why a lot of people are angry. There were a lot of people in the crowd, so I'm hearing, that refused to shake her hand, that turned the other way, that backed away from the fence, put sunglasses on, did all sorts of body language things to move away from Meghan. Now, speaking of body language, obviously my favourite, the body language guy, he posted this. I think this sums up possibly a lot of people's feelings at the time. Now, obviously, the floral tributes are an amazing, amazing thing, like I said in the video. Truly, absolutely phenomenal. And for William and Catherine and Harry to be seeing all of those, just seeing the outpouring of love, I hope there is some sort of kick in Harry that reminds him of everything that he has given up and the path that he's chosen. Not because I want him to come back, but because I want him to stop. I want him to stop. I want him to stop Meghan. And I think the days of Harry having his balls are long gone. Sorry for a quick turn in this, but I just saw a moment of Harry actually, do you remember on the balcony we told Meghan to turn around? Well, there was a glimmer of the old Harry where he actually told Meghan to hand flowers over to the aides. Now, this has become a story in the news. Basically, Meghan was holding the flowers that were given to her because she wanted to walk up, obviously have her pictures taken, and then she wanted to lay the flowers down herself for the Queen. Can you imagine? Netflix would have had a field day. It would have ensured, like Uvalde, Meghan, you know, with all of the posed photographs with the flowers. And she got foiled yet again. So that's two things she got foiled on, and she didn't take to it too kindly. Here, I'll play you a clip. You see her really snarl at him. You see the face, the kind of mask slip a little bit. And she's like, I told them that I would take them over there. Thank you so much. Thank you. And it's just like, just because you're saying thank you, we can hear what you're really saying. And it's not nice. And so anyway, he backed away. Now, he actually turned out to be Lee Thompson, who is not just an aide, not just a minion. He actually happens to be the Prince and Princess of Wales head of PR and communications. So I'm sure that Meghan's behaviour is going to be reported back to Prince William at some point. And then there was another aide that managed to finally, with Harry's help, wrangle the flowers off of Meghan. And you can see her here. She literally is just like, we need to take them. And Meghan's like, no, I want to take them. And Harry actually intervenes. So there was a brief glimmer of Harry actually telling his wife to follow protocol. And the fact is, it's not about trying to take things away from Meghan. It's for her safety as well. This is a couple that are suing Her Majesty's government over their safety. And Meghan's taking stuff off of strangers and hugging strangers. It would only take a brief second. Someone, you know, that could hurt her with a knife, or there could be something awful in the flowers. And that's why there are protocols in place. But Meghan never wanted to learn any of them. She never wanted to do it. And this, given the fact it's a somber day, she was walking around like the flowers were for her. You know, I just think she made it into, well, what Meghan does best. It was about Meghan. And I understand that why the young girl gave her a cuddle, because there's quite a few people that really don't want Meghan around. And I happen to be one of them. I do. I don't want to see her being comforted by people when it's the Queen who's died. It is Charles's mother who's died. It is Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, that needs comforting, who has lost her second mother. It is the family that have been with the Queen, that love the Queen, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren that spend Christmas and summers with her. They are the ones that need comforting, not the woman that has been a one-woman wrecking ball to the royal family for the past 2 years, who was given absolutely everything. So there is a bit of me that I think that Meghan should go home. I think she should go home to be with her children, give her children a cuddle and a kiss every night. She can support Harry on the phone, give him a chance to mend some bridges with his family, with his father, with his brother, because they're sure as hell not going to do it when she's around. But I guess that's part of the problem. She's not going to want those bridges mended because that's how they make their money. That's why that book is still going to come out, because they need the money to support the lifestyle that they or she has grown accustomed to. And that's where I find it so very sad that even in this time, this absolutely truly devastating moment when the world, the nation, so many of us are so upset at the loss of Queen Elizabeth, and they still cannot just behave themselves and stop trying to pull stunts. All the coverage this week should be about Queen Elizabeth II, about King Charles, about the royal family. I do not want to keep reading about Harry and Meghan. I do not want to keep hearing about their publicity stunts. The fact that Charles, in all of his grief, is actually reportedly asking Harry to just ditch the book, for Meghan to stop doing the podcast attacks. The fact that he is having to do this at one of the most, you know, awful moments of his life, and also the most stressful, where he has become king, is truly heartbreaking still. I personally can't see them stopping, with all of the reports coming out of they tried to do a pap stroll and that got foiled with the US TV network. Harry's upset that he can't wear his uniform. You know, there was squabbles were the reason why they couldn't meet up, and Meghan couldn't get on a plane. All of these leaks. And I just think they've got no intentions. They can't, because they make their money through trashing the monarchy. So maybe that was a clever thing by William and Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales. I'm never going to get tired of saying that. not actually had them on that walk with them, because how can they go back and say that they were left out? As much as Meghan kept staring at Princess Catherine like Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp in the court case, there is no mistaking that the tensions are still very much there. I cannot see them ever being forgiven for what they've done, especially Meghan, who has done more of the personal attacks. And I just think it would be best for the royal family if Meghan went home, because it would stop all of the media stories coming out about Meghan. She can go home, be with her children. They're babies anyway. They need their mother. I just think Harry should stay for the funeral, then fly back home, spend the rest of his life being a private citizen with his wife, with his children. I wish him all the happiness and the best of luck in the world, but go forth overseas and stay there. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. I'll be back soon. See you later. Bye.
If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.